Hello, my name is Isabel Torres, and I am going. Here is my ID. So today I am going to talk about characteristics of the three fields in education, talking about linguistics, methodology, and research. What I have here is a little quote that I thought about while making the script, and it says, "Teaching the system, not just correcting the error. Teaching the system, it's basically saying about what is behind the words, not just what does the word means." So we're going to start with the field of linguistics. So linguistics applied to education focuses mainly on understanding what is behind my students' mistakes in class. When they make a grammatical mistake, instead of just correcting the error, I make them think about why they did it that way. For example, I make my students write the example for a sentence using adjectives. So let's say one of them or several of them write, "The color blue is my favorite." So what they are doing here is just translating what they think in Spanish to English, and instead of just correcting the order, saying no, you're wrong, you have to change the order in English. I recognize immediately that they are translating from Spanish to English with complete innocence about what the fact of the order changes. So I focus on identifying the student's root cause, saying, "Oh, I see your reasoning about it. Your sentence comes from translating directly from Spanish. Well, we need to well, here I would tell them that we need to change the order because blue is my favorite color is the correct order for the sentence. See that blue is before that is the adjective, and then is the word color, that is the noun. Let's say that I tell them that think of it as you describing something before you mention it. So with this, I believe that it would make them far easier for them to identify this type of rule. Now moving on with methodology. So methodology is the how of teaching. Not only teaching, not what I teach, that is grammatical rules, but how I design the activities, present the concepts, and guide students to learn. So methodology in pedagogy is basically how I approach the teaching to this foreign language to my students. Throughout history, teachers have used a variety of methods, from grammar translation to the silent way. But we have come to realize that there is not one perfect method to teach in class. There's not one exact method that we have to follow. Students from every age are a world of their own. Let's say saying from children to adolescents to adults, they all learn in different ways. So as teachers, we have to observe and analyze the best way and method to use in each class. We have to adapt the approach to their level and age. And here I want to say a little parenthesis saying that these three fields are connected. In the first one, which I talked about linguistics, and then it was saying about the rules and how I go to the root cause. During methodology, I say about how I teach it, the way I connect it to, describe it before adding the noun. So continuing with methodology. So continuing here in the next slide, instead of drilling the rules, I show why the sense exists through a lived experience. Teaching a language should not just focus about drilling grammar rules like a machine. We need to help them understand that the second language uses a different approach and focuses on real life situations so we can make them feel more involved in this language. For example, I have to explain a simple present. Instead of just giving the rules written on the board, I would choose to explain in real life why we need them. I show them uh, that we're using in, for example, facts in habits. Say in this example, the sky is blue. You can see it through the window. And I open the window, go to the window, and I make them see that the sky is in fact blue because it's a fact. In an habit, I come to work every day. You have English classes on Thursday. I put these examples and I make them understand that I am not showing example. I'm giving them real life sentences that they actually live. Moving on in research in education. Research in education is using systematic methods to investigate and teaching and learning, so we can understand what works, why it works, and how to improve it if it's necessary. So we have three types of research: the qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods. In qualitative, we collect researchers. We collect words, stories, observation, and try to understand. We have a deeply understanding about the meaning of things. In quantitative, it's all about numbers and scores to measure. Here we can say it as with using tests with our students that we have uh, over 10 points when we have an activity. In qualitative, it's I didn't say the example. It's about maybe an interview or a pair work with a classmate. And we have also have the last one that is mixed methods, qualitative and quantitative combined. So I would say that research in the field of education refers as my investigation as a researcher to solve a problem within the classroom using these three methods. For instance, let's say that I have a class whose primary skill to develop is listening and speaking. Why do I do? I applied maybe this research cycle that is about analyzing the problem. What is the problem? What is happening? They cannot communicate well. They cannot use some students in groups. They cannot talk to each other in English. So I determine the research method. What I'm going to do using qualitative or quantitative. In this case, I would say in this example, I will use the qualitative research. So I collect the data, which students are having problems or struggling with speaking, which of them are using more words. So then I go to the analyzing and evaluating the data. So I evaluate and analyze each case. So in the next one, the next step, I report and document the finding. All of the data that I collected, I will document it to get to a conclusion. So here I have the repeating the process. So in this last stage, I go to the conclusion. Let's say I do pair work for 2 weeks and I observe if the speaking improves. And let's say that still students are struggling with speaking. So what do I do then? What I do is to continue this process. So I would give them a script. I would encourage them to use a dictionary. I would give them phrases to repeat. I would pair them in groups of two, so they would have a better access to a classmate, to a friend, so they could speak more fluently. Here I have the key ideas. Key ideas I just add as a little summary. I have the about the linguistics, finding the root cause of the students' errors, teach the system behind the mistake, as I said in the first example. Next one I have methodology. I adapt my approach per students with my observation and in real life over giving them grammar drills. So instead I would use approaching them with real life situations. And in the research, I can combine these three fields, and I could collect words and numbers and reflect them on practice. So I can use methodology and linguistics to improve. Thank you so much. Here are the reference I used for this.